All right. Well, thank you everyone for your time. Thank you for joining us with Dre. You all have already read his bio and seen, I sent his social links, so you've all seen it. And a lot of you were actually already familiar with him. So there's not much introduction needed. I'm really excited for this conversation because Dre is someone that I've been watching for a while, and I just I'm inspired by what he's doing, especially as a black man who left America and went to Ghana and doing well, doing good. It's like everything that I keep telling you guys, there's somebody who's an example, So I'm excited to have him here with us. Dre, thank you for your time. And I want to start by asking you, what was your life like in the US before you moved to Ghana? And also, why did you choose Ghana specifically out of all the other African countries?
What was my life like? Interesting, I guess. I did a lot of work in the States. I had a mentoring program. I mentored over 200 boys in Kansas City called Males to Men up to COVID hit. Uh, I served on several boards appointed to by the mayor's office in Kansas City. One was a construction overseeing 20 million, $100 million contracts, construction contracts. Another board was sustainability for the city of Kansas City. I ran a nonprofit, greenhouse, doing community work. So writing grants, writing $1 million worth of grants. I worked for the USDA, reviewing grants. I got a fruit orchard still in Kansas City, 150 fruit tree orchard. I had like 200 people with my co-op that I started that is still going strong. A lot of consulting with universities. So I did a lot of work. Probably the tipping point for me moving to Ghana was I tried to apply for medical marijuana licenses in the States. I had a lot of backing. I was on the front page of the paper, and I wasn't able to get any licenses. And so that was pretty much the icing on the cake for me in the States, you know, because if anybody should have got a license, it probably should have been me. But just with 3% of the black population owning anything in the medical marijuana field, it was just, I guess the system. And so because of the system, I said that was it. I was ready to leave. COVID hit, and
Mhm.
I came to Ghana, and the rest is history.
Wow. But so, okay, a lot there. It sounds like you had a really wonderful time well, not wonderful time, but you were doing really well in the US. Were you able to maintain those relationships? And again, to the question of why did you choose Ghana?
I pretty much put everything in place and cut everything off from the U.S. Only thing I kept, I left everything there. I got rid of everything. I came to Ghana with like 6 suitcases, and that was it. I've traveled around a lot of different places in the world, DR, China, Belize, Brazil, Costa Rica, a lot of different places. I said if it wasn't Ghana, it'd probably be Belize. But when I came to Ghana, I felt at home more so than any other place that I've been before. So that's pretty much why I choose Ghana. I haven't been anywhere else in Africa. Once I came to Ghana in 2019 on a year of return, I was coming back and forth. They couldn't stop me. I was just, boom, 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 boom. And I really wasn't seeking out any other African country because I felt at home here. So that's pretty
Oh,
much what landed me here in Ghana.
I love to hear that, and I hear that all the time. It's like as soon as you hit Ghana, you just feel that this is home. And I'm happy to hear that you do feel at home. There was a recent study they published that Ghana has been placed second most safest in Africa. How do you feel in Ghana in terms of safety? And have you ever been worried about your safety ever?
No, this is I feel pretty safe here. I don't hear no gunshots. I'm from Kansas City, so it's just like any other urban city in the United States. A lot of crime, X, Y, and Z, and so I never felt my life was in threatened. Uh, it's peaceful here. I don't got to worry about the police. Nobody. I'm not saying Ghana's utopia that crime doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in the numbers that it does in the U.S. You're definitely not
Mhm.
anybody trying to kill you here. It's
Right.
not a gun culture here, and so you'll have petty theft. But as far as like violent crimes, that's non-existent. Most of the people that I know move here are single black females, and they're thriving and they feel pretty safe here. And so for them to feel safe, I feel a lot safer here where it's not like in the States where there's certain places you can't go at night. You can pretty much go anywhere in Ghana at night, you know what I mean, and feel
Mhm.
safe. And so I have no issues with the safety here.
Well, how did that report when you saw it? How did you feel? Because you've been talking about Ghana too for a while.
Yeah, when I seen the report, I've seen it before. I've done my research and I've seen it. I experienced it. So, a lot of people, it was kind of caught off guard not being here. The first thing people always say is, "Be safe out there." And I'm thinking to myself, "Hell, you be safe out where you at?" You know what I mean? In the States, you know what I mean? I'm a lot
Mhm.
safer here than you are over there.
Mhm.
And so it's
Yeah.
just one of those things where people don't understand. They just, a lot of mythology been taught to us since we were younger.
Mhm.
Media, X, Y, and Z, and to paint the whole picture of Africa. Something bad happened to Africa, not understanding that Africa is 3 times the size of the United States. So if something happens bad in California, just imagine, something so far away as far as New York, you know what I mean, where you stand at.
Mhm.
So it's a lot of different, many cultures here, many different languages. And so Ghana is just not one section of Africa. It's a small part of Africa.
Yes, yes, correct. Um, when you were talking earlier, you mentioned that you moved because you tried to apply for marijuana license. Did you try to do that in Ghana? Because I know they were talking about that. And I'm not sure if they approved the bill for uh, commercial marijuana license in Ghana. Did you look into that? And another question with that too is why did you choose to invest in Ghana and why real estate?
Yeah, so I came here for a hemp conference, I believe, in 2020.
Okay.
But the hemp was so far behind,
Yeah.
in the U.S. and where we was at. The infrastructure that was needed here wasn't in place, and I seen how when it hit in the U.S. how they wasn't ready for it, and just Ghana's about 20 years behind as far as the infrastructure regarding hemp. I did
Okay.
see they just started like a cannabis school or something here, I think, like last week or something like that.
Oh wow,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, so I seen something last week, but I'm narrowing my focus to just real estate and tours, and that's pretty much
Mhm.
that's all I'm doing here. Where I'm not really focused on the cannabis. I got
Mhm.
denied the license. I got a zero on diversity. How do I get a zero on diversity? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, Stuff like that. I had people backing me. I had like the founder of Applebee's. He was going to fund it. I had the guy who had I can't think of the fitness title boxing club.
Mhm.
He was going to fund it. Had one of the top executives at Bayer Pharmaceuticals. I met with their lawyer. So a lot of people thought I was going to get it because I was always in a paper. I had one of the largest aquaponic systems in the country. I have agricultural patent. And so it was a lot of things that I had going for me. So it wasn't really no reason why I shouldn't have been able to get a license with my history and background, being a consultant to several universities.
Yeah. I'm gonna okay. Thank you. So with I'm pretty sure you've heard of the current climate, political climate and what's been going on lately, especially with the past few days since President Trump got inaugurated. Um, what advice do you have for my audience, Black women, and if somebody's thinking of moving, what advice would you give them and what process would you tell them to go through?
Any person, I tell them we have options. You know what I mean? Uh, we're not married to the U.S. You know what I mean? Like we was in the past because of certain issues and jobs and things like that. A lot of remote jobs. If you go retire, you can retire early because the price of living is a lot lower here in Ghana. Your money's stretched. There's a lot of retirees here living their best life on Social Security. If you have a
Mhm.
pension, it even goes a lot farther. And so the service areas are pretty much low. So you can get a driver for like less than $300 a month, a cook, a
Mhm.
cleaner for $300 a month. So you
Mhm.
can pretty much live like a multi-millionaire with like $1,500, $2,000 a month, which you can't do in the U.S. And so
Yeah.
that's first and foremost. Healthcare is another issue. If you got a major health ailment, do your history, do your research on what's here, what's provided. But there's a lot of people get off like a metformin, a lot of medicine because food is a lot healthier here. The weather's great. You have access to a nurse, you know what I mean, 24/7 if you wanted a nurse for less than like $300 so a month. And so these are some of the things you can get here in Ghana where if you wanted to come live, those are some things people ask as far as health,
Mhm.
safety, price of living, things of that nature. Join the African American Association of Ghana because it's a way to get to network. Take everything I say with a grain of salt, but you'll get to meet other people who've been here for 60 years, 50 years, 20 years of just moving here. So people with a lot of experience, a lot of different advice. And so once you come in, you come into like a family, a group, you'll find your tribe of people. And
Mhm.
once you get your tribe of people, you can pretty much move and groove like you need to move. And it shouldn't be like a rites of passage program when you come here, when you get to meet people and they can help you assist when trying to move here.
Mhm. How does it feel like being a black man in Ghana as compared to America?
Well, I'm not a black man. I'm a man here in Ghana. That's first and foremost. And so that's different being a man here in Ghana as opposed to a black man in the United States.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm free here.
Mhm.
I don't have to look over my shoulder. I don't worry about the police. One thing that we always hear is, oh, they don't like us over there. They don't like African Americans. But it's like you got 80 different languages, dialects here in Ghana alone. So when did
Mhm.
everybody get together and be like, we don't like this group of
I
people?
love that, right?
That's impossible. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I have like 70 people here working for me at any given point in time. At any given point in time, they could have been and taken me out if that was a sentiment of they don't like me. I'm a part of the community here. Kids wave when they see me driving.
Mhm.
The chief respects me here. Get the blessings of the chief, the blessings of the police department, blessing of the assembly here. So I integrated inside the community because I come from building community back in Kansas City. So you have to be able to exchange and be a part of the community in which you plan on living in. So being
Mhm.
here as a man, I'm free. You know what I mean? It's when I go back to the U.S., I dread it because I start feeling like I'm restricted. The walls are done closed in on me. You know what I mean? I got to worry about being pulled over.
Yeah.
Ghana don't have systems in place like here. They don't got like speed traps and all that kind of stuff. They don't drive around, just messing with
Yeah.
you. And so you're pretty much willing to do whatever you pretty much want to do here. There's like 15,000 people in jail out of about 35 million people here. In comparison, you got 400,000 black men in jail in the States out of about 40 something million. And
Mm.
so they're not trying to take you to jail in Ghana. You have about
Mhm.
1.2 million people on probation or parole, which is like slave papers. You know what I mean? So they're profiting off the backs of black men. So that's one of the reasons also I moved here because I mentor boys. And so a lot of things we were doing was reactive. We
Mm.
shouldn't be code switching was like a mental illness where I had to change my voice saying I'm not enough. Why should I feel that I'm not enough? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
appeal to somebody else's morality who really don't have morality when you look at things in the history and the presence of which they carry. And so feel good being a man here. I'm never moving back to the States. Uh, I'm trying to be a pioneer for those who want to come, assist those who looking to travel, not travel, but uh, live here and prosper. So uh, just trying to be a resource for those, and that's what I'm doing with the real estate.
I love that. Thank you. And thank you for your service and all that you're doing to help the community. Um, I'm pretty sure that you have experienced some cons because, like you said, it's not utopia. And I'm from there, I grew up there. I know there are a lot of cons there. What are some of the cons that you've experienced that people should be aware of so that they will make plans and they don't walk into, just, oh, they think it's fairy tale. Everybody's saying it's the best thing in the world, but they didn't know about these things.
Yeah, the biggest thing is just having somebody on the ground that you can trust to be able to maneuver and move and groove like you need to move and groove to understand the culture here. As soon as you speak, that's anywhere in the world that you go when you speak, where they're gonna try to charge you more as somebody that's not from Ghana. But
Mm-hmm.
once you learn the culture, then you'll understand that. I went to Mexico, they try to charge me crazy prices for like a bottle of or something I bought. You know, they try to snatch my chain in Brazil. You know what I mean? Unsuccessfully. So every country had their pros and cons. But Ghana is more so just getting charged an extra price. And when I say
Mm-hmm.
extra, you're not talking about thousands of dollars. It might be a $2 here, $4 there. You know what I mean? And they try to nickel and dime me, but it's nothing where it's like, life changing. But as long as you have
Mm-hmm.
somebody here on the ground with the best interests and you get to know people, have a soft landing, then everything should work out. Other than that, I don't have no horror stories. You know, biggest thing is here is 90% of the people in court are due to land issues. And it's not just, it's a small percentage of people from the U.S. It's Ghanaians on Ghanaians with land, and that's pretty much a lot of Africa with land issues. So that's pretty much the biggest thing is take your time. Nothing happens in Ghana fast. If something happens fast in Ghana, it's a red flag. Everything moves slow here. So that's the biggest thing. Land ain't going nowhere. So just take your time, get a lawyer, get a surveyor, and pay a little bit of money up front for these things, and you should be fine.
I love that you touched on that because I thought of asking you, and then I thought maybe it's not relevant to my audience, but I know the land are very a big deal in Ghana, and there are chiefs that will sell land to two people at the same time, and so these issues happen as I mean, as a foreigner. When you first, now I consider it local, but when you first went, how did you navigate getting a good land or getting a land where I know you mentioned get a lawyer and all that, but before you were clueless, did you have any issues? Did you run into any land issues?
Yeah, it's always people gonna be trying to sell you land they don't own. You know what I mean? That's
Hmm.
still to the case. You know, and you just got to do your due diligence. You know what I mean? You got to be
Hmm.
smart about it. I had a land issue in the States. It was on the front. That was another incident where I was on the front page of the paper because of the work I was doing in the community. And somebody tried to take the land, and I ended up getting the land back. So it's not just Ghana. Ghana get a bad name. Africa get a bad name. But just you will have those issues if you don't know, what to look for when trying to purchase land here. So I said I had a lawyer. I had, the team here. I had my friend who brought me to Ghana. He's been coming since 2002. And
Okay.
so, he was able to guide me on what and what not to do. So he introduced me to a brother that's Ghanaian who lived in the UK. And he's
Okay.
pretty transparent, had all his documentation, and lived on the next junction. So if I buy land from, I need to know where you live at. You know what I mean? I need to know where you sleep and all these type of things, you know, to move
Yeah.
forward. So that's some of the criteria that I need to buy land from people is I have to know you. I just can't buy
Mhm.
land off of just
Mhm.
anybody because I don't want no issues.
Mhm. So for if anyone didn't get the chance to look at Dre's profile before he came, he does real estate. He has real estate properties, condos, townhomes, and all of that. And he's doing an amazing job in Ghana helping. people here that are trying to relocate, find homes, safe homes that they want to live in. Dre, I wanted to ask you, you started at least 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago now. And what was the market looking like then versus now? And why is it important to get in now?
Well, when I came in 19, when you first come up to Abri Mountains, it was plots of land coming up the mountains of like $10,000. And land ain't as cheap as people think in Africa. You know, that's really how
Mhm,
people like make a lot of money because of land. So it's not as cheap. The cost of build could be pretty cheap, but land isn't as cheap as people think. It's actually expensive
mhm,
here.
mhm,
Um, and so when going up the mountains, like 10,000 now, 5 years, 6 years later, it's the same plot of land that was 10,000, like 50 to $80,000 for a plot of land in the same
mm,
location.
mm.
And
Wow.
so definitely the real estate market is pretty good right now. Getting in, like I said, you make your money not pretty much on land, but just on the building process itself. And so, like any time, they say in real estate, the best time to buy land was 10 years ago. The second best time is today. It's only going to
Yeah.
appreciate. And so,
Right.
it's definitely a good time to get in, especially if you can build for the market where you have a lot of people from the U.S., Caribbean, and UK trying to move to and help facilitate that move. Part
Mm,
of my success probably been that I'm from the U.S., so people feel comfortable with me being
mhm,
here. And I went through, the fire trying to find land, and so went through the fire finding contractors and builders and things of that nature. So it makes it easier for them just to migrate and come here and find something that's already built as opposed to trying to find contractors and builders and X, Y, and Z to make it hard to build here. So I
mhm,
don't suggest just coming out here and trying to build. I suggest coming out, rent a place, maybe
mhm,
like $200 to $600 a month, depending on where
mhm.
you at to stay, get a feel for the area, get a feel for the people, and then you make an educated decision based on staying here for at least a year to figure out where exactly you want to move to.
Yes, yes, that's great advice. I agree with you. I know people that try to just come for a visit. They're like, "Oh, I love it. I'm not going back." And then 3 months later, they really realize that, wait, reality is actually different from holiday Ghana. So
Right.
I love that advice. Um, but also to give you guys context about the cost of land, when my husband and I we just bought our land last year in July. Well, now our land is double the price that we bought it for. So within just a year, if we decided to sell our home, it appreciates. So if you want to get in, this would be the time to get in. And Dre, what about the properties that you are selling? If somebody wanted to get again, because of the market changes, I'm pretty sure what the price was 3 years ago is different from the prices now. And I'm sure the prices now will be different from next 2, 3 years. So what can you tell us about, making a decision? Give us something.
Yeah, so I bought my land like 3 years ago, but I actually started building, I think, like 18 or 19 months ago. So
Mhm.
it's different here because I bought bushland in a bush, like in the middle of the forest on the side of the
Okay.
mountain with great mountain views. If you're familiar with
Mm,
California and seeing the city lights and the rolling mountains, that's pretty much what I have right here on the side of the mountain here. Uh,
mm,
and so as a developer, it was bare land. I had to clear a road to come to the property. I had to put up street lights. I had to put in
mhm,
electricity poles here on the property. I have solar on my property, so we'll finish. I'm building 13, 7 homes, 8 duplexes, and we'll start the condo units hopefully by the end of next month. And so that
mm,
consists of 92 condo units, a rooftop restaurant, pool, gym, spa, laundromat, uh, putting in a roller skating rink, a nice spa, a market, a clinic, uh, and a clinic that's 24 hours, and a pharmacy inside the building. So my self-sustaining city here. I've been able to sell out all my houses and duplexes. So I got a waiting list for those houses and duplexes. Pretty nice. When I first started, the early bird special with pre-construction, my house was like 160,000 for 4 bedroom, 4.5 bath, 2,800 square feet, solar, rooftop pool. You really can't beat it. If it was California, it's probably easy to be a good $2 million house with the views that we have in California. But as first, I started at 160. Now 220, but we're all sold out. The duplex is 3 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, 2,400 square feet. Same with a rooftop pool, solar panels, battery backup, and those were starting off at 140 and end up selling those at 180, the final price. So. Definitely, been lucky to sell those units. People coming to see it. A lot of different reviews on YouTube will help me sell. A lot of Instagram posts and things like that. So we'll start the condo units, and they're starting off at like 65K for a non-view, and I think 70K for a view of the mountain. 7
Okay.
floors. And so I get a lot of people who want, one level homes. And so the condos will fit. But at some point in time, I'm trying to acquire as much land as possible to keep building because I'm getting all these requests. And I can't just go build like a one off like your house because I got so many employees and I got to remove my equipment. And I don't have the team that I need here to be able to move to a different project because I got a large enough project here. But I will be
Mm.
moving to the beachfront sometime soon.
Oh, nice. Where, still in Abri or somewhere else?
Prom Prom. Prom Prom, about
Prom
45 minutes
Prom.
from the city of Accra. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Nice. Wonderful. I'm gonna get to some of the questions. So Carol asked, why were you denied alliances? But I think you mentioned that they said something about diversity, correct?
Yeah, diversity. I got a zero on insurance. Like, how do I get a zero on insurance? You got it, yes or a no. You know what I mean? And we had insurance, we got a zero on it. So it is part of the system. We didn't pay the people we need to pay to get the license. It was a conflict of interest where the people who was teaching people how to get the license was also the people who was doing a grade on the license. So that's a whole conflict of interest there. And so went through the appeal process, but after the license came to Missouri, I was over and done with it, and I just came to Ghana. It's like, you know what, I'm gonna just come here and start building and doing and start my life here.
Mm. Okay, so Vaughn said, "Hey Dre, I've been following you on Instagram and inspired by your journey. How difficult was it to get used to driving in Ghana? And do you recommend buying a vehicle or using public transportation? What's been your experience with the quality and cost of medical care, and how difficult is it to learn Chi?"
I don't drive here. I have a driver. So I don't drive here. Uh,
I don't
I
drive.
probably yeah. I
Keep going.
probably recommend. Everybody's different here. I know some people who do drive. I feel my time is more valuable in a passenger seat, going through emails, maybe taking a nap, than just sitting in that traffic whenever there's traffic. So I'm about 45 minutes or an hour away from Accra. So I have to go there like twice a week, maybe, to get material. So my time is more valuable in a passenger seat than it is in the driver's seat. So my driver is like my translator, negotiator, site manager, assistant site manager. So he's my everything here. So I heavily rely on him for a lot of different things. I haven't learned tree yet. That's my goal for the year. I know the basic words. I can catch things here and there. And so that's my goal because it opened up a whole nother world once you understand tree.
Mhm.
And so that's part of my goal this year. If you was to buy a car, I would buy something as new as possible here in Ghana. That way, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not a auction or a flooded car coming in from wherever it's coming from. That would probably be your best bet. Bringing a car here is probably going to be about 25% to 30% more because of the duties cost and export costs. So you're going to pay a lot more for bringing a car here. And so when people like, there's no money in Ghana, it's a lot of cash money in Ghana. So all the cars you see in Ghana, with the Range Rovers, the Land Cruisers, the Benzes and the trucks, they all paid for in cash. So just
Gosh.
imagine paying $100,000 for a SUV truck that might be like 60,000 in the US. You know,
Hmm.
so you see a lot of vehicles here that's paid for in cash. And I'm be like, if the average person here makes like, close to $300 a month, how are these vehicles on the road here? You know what I mean? So there's
Yes.
some cash coming from somewhere. I just can't figure out where this cash is coming from. I haven't been able to put my finger on it yet, but it's a lot of cash money here. Even the houses, 80% of the houses here are owned
Hmm.
and not mortgaged because the mortgage rates are about 12% starting off. I've seen
Hmm.
them get to like 30% for a mortgage. So a lot of people don't do mortgages. So when you come here, you will see a lot of buildings unfinished because they build as they go. And so they own the property. Say, for instance, this house that I'm in sold for, I think I'm selling this house for 190, 200,000, something like that. The property tax is like $200 for the year, and so those are some benefits of living in Ghana where the property tax is low
Hmm.
because the cost of living is low.
Yeah. I want to touch more on the mortgage and then the just the cash society too. Um, Even you said 80% are mostly cash bill, and that's true. I didn't even know that there's 20% that has mortgage because they don't give mortgages to locals or just anybody. If you go and ask for if I go to the bank and ask for a mortgage loan, they're just gonna tell me there's no loan. And so everybody that I know build their houses from ground up cash with cash. In the car conversation too, majority of the cars in America are imported from overseas. So if you buy a car in Ghana, and Dre, maybe I don't know if you know this, but if you buy a car in Ghana, chances are a lot of them are accident cars already. So they buy here an auction, they take it to Ghana and it's cheap to fix. And then they fix it. And what some of them do is when you first bring a car to Ghana, you have that DV license plate, if Jerry, you know what I'm talking about. And they will drive it for about a year or more until they actually license the car. So let's say if I got my car in January of 2024, I'll try to drive it as much as I can and then license my car in 2025 so that my license plate says 2025. So you still think you're getting a newer car, but you're not. Just
Yeah,
inside the info. Yeah.
yeah,
So
it's
it's
crazy because
very
they don't go
tricky
off of they don't go off of the year of the car or the mileage. They look at when it was registered here, which is
in
crazy. Like I
America.
need to
I mean,
know
yeah.
about the mileage on the car. They don't really look at that here, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it's
And
crazy.
another reason why they don't look is when the car gets to Ghana, the mechanics can reset the mileage. So
Yeah,
it's really, if you can, if you can bring a car from America because you know there are no issues. But like Dre said, it does cost more because you're going to pay duties on it. And sometimes the duties actually cost more than the car. But you also know the mileage is real, everything is real. So if you can do it that way, if you can't, buy in Ghana. But yeah, I wanted
yeah,
to,
it's a trade off because even though you're going to spend more in duties, your insurance is going to be a lot lower than it's going to be in the states.
yeah,
uh, what you pay for maybe a month or 2 months in the States would be what you'll pay for the full year here in Ghana. So it'll actually balance out, in 3 or 4 years with importing a car here.
yeah.
Question that somebody had before was medical. So in 2020, I got COVID. I was out in the streets in December, dead of December, and I got COVID. So I had to go to the hospital. I was in there. I didn't know I had COVID at the time. I thought it could have been malaria or yellow fever. And so I went inside there into a private hospital, nice, clean facility, which you expect to see at like any kind of urgent care in the U.S. Went there. I had an IV. I had my blood work drawn. They gave me medicine. I stayed overnight. I paid less than $300 out of pocket for that. And so just if that was in the US, I'd have been like $5,000 for that type of care in the US. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and so I just had a tour. I had a lady, she got sick. I can't think of what she had. She had I think maybe food poisoning, or it wasn't food poisoning, it was
Typhoid? Is it typhoid fever?
typhoid. I think she had typhoid, and so she was in the hospital. I stayed with her for like eight hours. They get her blood work, gave her IV, and she was like around like $200 for that, you know. And so the medical care here is pretty low. There's a lot of insurance providers from the U.S. who provide insurance at certain hospitals here. So that's available. But most people here just pay out of pocket because it really don't cost anything to pay out of pocket for a lot of things here. And so that's been my experience with the medical services here. Just get a private, go to a private hospital. The doctors are accessible here, so you can text message them via WhatsApp. They speak to you. You can get house calls come to you. Doctors will come to you to where you're living at. So it's more accessible. They're not trying to push like pharmaceuticals down your throat. They don't get paid by pharmaceutical companies like they do in the U.S. trying to push medicine. So it's a lot different here. Now, as far as like specialized care, it is case by case scenario, depending on what you have and what could be done. But I haven't had any major issues, but I just say do your research. I'm not a doctor, so I can't, say, this and I just tell you about my experience.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for giving us that information. I didn't even know that some U.S. insurance provide insurance for some hospitals in
Hmm.
Ghana. So thanks for letting
Yeah.
us know. Someone asked, and this is V, still V. She said, "Did your extended family also relocate? And if not, do they visit?"
No, I have my little brother. He's been the only one been here. I'm trying to bring my whole family here in December. I wanted them to come to see what I'm building here, so they have everybody have somewhere to stay. So I will be able to facilitate everybody staying here on my property. I'm gonna name the street after my stepfather who passed away. So I'm gonna register it on Google. So when we hit the street, my mother can hear his name and see the street sign of him, and
Oh.
so like a memorial, and so that'll be a moment for her and my younger sister. So uh, that's what I'm waiting to bring them here in December. Everybody don't have the flexibility of moving here. Everybody got jobs, and so they're not remote and don't have, like I said, the flexibility to move here. But I'm planning on having everybody come here, and so if they want to move here, they can. I have somewhere for them to stay. My younger sister, I'm getting her a condo in the condo units, and so yeah, they'll you build it, they'll come. So I got an uncle trying to come and just timing, I guess.
Mm, that's beautiful. Um, that that's just beautiful. Someone also asks, what area of Ghana would you recommend a single adult female would be safe and strive as a professional?
Uh First off, I think just anywhere around Accra, which is a city, it's like 6 million people. I think it's like 10 million people. It's people everywhere in Accra.
Mm,
Uh, but anywhere around Accra, the surrounding areas, um, you'll be safe. I haven't had no reports of women. I got a lot of friends who's here, single women who move here with kids, and
mm,
so it just depends on where you feel comfortable at staying. Cry's not cheap in certain
mhm,
areas. It can be more expensive than the U.S. to live in certain areas with less amenities. I don't know why, but there's certain places that charge you crazy prices. Not just us; it's just somebody's paying them. I don't know who, but they're able to charge those type of prices. But
mhm,
I would just recommend coming here, visiting, see where you get a good feel for it.
mhm,
What I'm doing different is I'm building community. And so I'll have a total of 105 units in my little area that I'm building in, here in the mountains. So we're building communities. We got 105 buyers. The only criteria is you have to be of African descent. That's the only criteria you have to buy in my area. I didn't come to Ghana to be living by other people or owning what's here in my property. And
mhm,
so they can live anywhere else, but they just can't own on my property. Uh,
mhm,
but I'm building a community where, we can pull on each other for resources if we want to do something as far as a building project or agriculture. I got 105 different owners to say, okay, let's do this. Maybe 5 here, maybe 10 here. I
Mhm.
have it's not just people that's from African Americans. I have a Nigerian buyer, I have a Liberian buyer. I have 2 separate Ghanaian families who have bought from me. And so sometimes people are like, oh, you coming there to regentrify X, Y, and Z? I'm like, no, because I have different people of African descent who's buying from me, who's comfortable buying in my development, who believes in the vision that I have here. And so that's really the biggest thing is just having a community of people to rely on, count on, who have like a mission of just wanting to be in a community where we're not separating ourselves from everybody else. We integrate inside of what we're doing. So, you know, that's pretty much what the vision is as far as what we're doing here in the mountains.
That's a beautiful vision, and I'm glad that you are selling to other Africans too, or basically any black person.
Yeah,
Basically, just
yeah,
not white people. You're like, you're not
yeah.
invited.
No, no, you're not.
Yeah. Someone also asked if I buy existing property that's on a plot of land, is that land mine?
You'll buy the land that the property sits on. That's what you should be buying is the land that the property sits on. In essence, you'll have that property that sits on the land. So you don't want to buy the property, you want to buy the land that the property sits on. And so, for instance, a condo, you won't be able to buy the land. You'll lease it out. So nobody owns anything right off. Everything is pretty much leased. So being a
Mm.
non-citizen, you have a 50-year lease. And so a lot of people are like, oh, you just lease for 50 years, you don't own nothing. You really don't own anything in the US. You don't pay, taxes for 3 years. There's intimate domain. If they want to take it, they'll take it. The bank will own it until you finish paying it off, and still there's still ways that they can possess anything that you own. And so having a 50-year lease, if you don't pay your taxes here in 3 years, which 80% of the people here in Ghana don't do, which is pay taxes, property taxes, they don't have no system to collect your property here. You know what I mean? And so that's one thing off your back where I tell them, if it's just $200, pay it, but the people here don't pay it because there's no system to collect the taxes. Um, and so 50-year lease, if you buy a property for 50 years, at least 50 years, I tell people if you're here for 50 years, then there's no reason you shouldn't get your citizenship within those 50 years. Five
Yeah.
years, okay, 10 years, what you doing, 15, 20, you just ain't trying to get your citizenship for whatever reason. And once
Yeah.
you buy a property and you get a lease, you can get a renewable lease. So you can get it renewed at any point in time. You don't have to wait till you're 50 years. And so whatever number you come up with, it might be like 1% of the value of the property that you have to pay to get it renewed. You just get renewed and you get a lawyer to get everything set up to be transferable to your heirs. There's trust here. And so there's a lot of different things you do to set up. And so don't get hung up on, oh, I just own this property for 50 years. Once you get your citizenship, it goes to 99 years, and that's renewable term.
Yeah, and I was going to say this is actually for everyone because as locals, ours is 99 years. And so
Right.
mainly nobody owns the land. And the reason why they do that is so that the chiefs, because the chiefs excuse me, I'm sorry. Give me one moment, please. Can you keep talking? I think
Yeah.
I laughed
So
too hard during the taxes and I'm like have a runny nose now. But the the kings or the chiefs they renew. So if a chief dies, somebody else takes over. Well, they need to make money, so they make money off the land. So they need you to renew your lease so that they can make more money, or make their portion of money because the chiefs owns the land. So really, nobody in Ghana owns anything. Is just so yeah. You at this moment it's yours for 50 years.
right, and it's
Yeah.
renewable, so you just get it renewed. I'm
Renewed,
like I'm
yes.
40. I'm 44. So in 50 years, if I live to see 94, then so be it. If not, I done got my good use out the property. Oh well,
Absolutely.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so
Yeah.
I'm not tripping on that. You know what I mean? Especially for the investment property. You know, who's living in the house for 99 years? How many people are actually passing down houses that's been a family for 99 years? I'd be like, be realistic. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But people just, you know, got these hang-ups and never really plan on moving here anyway and got something to say about land ownership X, Y, and Z. But if you got property for 99 years, then that should be its due diligence and should be good from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Carol asks, do a tiny home village, or maybe she's saying you do a tiny home village.
Yeah, I thought about it. You know, it's possible. I'm just trying to get as much land as possible around me to do it because a lot of people want like one-story houses because they retire and they're trying to cut down on space and all those different things. So they don't need a lot of space. So tiny homes would make sense. It can be affordable here. And so it's on my list of things to do. I got like maybe 2 projects left in me and I'm done. I don't really come to Ghana to work. I came
Mm-hmm.
to sit back, relax, and travel throughout Africa. And
Mm-hmm.
so I got one or maybe 2 more developments and I'm done. I'm kicking my feet up and I'm enjoying the rest of my life. So that's one of the things I wanted to do when I came to Ghana was I don't know how long I got being a black man, you know, average lifespan is like 67, 65, something right around there. And so I just wanted to enjoy my life for the rest of the time that I have here, you know. Luckily for
Mm-hmm.
me, I'd have made it this far. You know what I mean? Half my friends I grew up with was killed. You know, a lot of people didn't make it. A lot of people never moved or traveled. And so every day that I have, I'm just thankful to be here. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
just trying to enjoy it as much as possible, the less stress as possible. Even though I don't get stressed, it
Mm-hmm.
just I'm at ease here. You know, I'm free.
Yeah.
I can pretty much
Yeah.
do what I want to do whenever I want to do it. You know what I mean? And so I couldn't do these things in the States. I couldn't have the views that I have here, you know, with a rooftop pool and all these type of things that I'm living. I couldn't have a driver here. I couldn't have cleaners here, I mean, in the States. And so I'm living a life that I want to live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here,
Yeah.
peacefully, minding my business.
Yeah.
Nobody's overseeing anything I do. And so
Yeah.
I'm great.
Yeah. 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 You sound that's Ghana. That is Ghana. I can
Yeah.
attest to that. Someone V again asked, what's a realistic amount to have saved up before moving?
So if you rent a place here, they usually ask for like a year's worth of rent up front. The law say 6 months, but they don't really enforce that law, so you usually have to pay a year in advance. I tell people to at least have a year, maybe 2 years of rent saved up. That way you're not worried about this and that. And so the average price, I would say Kumasi, you could probably get somewhere in Kumasi for a lot less than Accra.
Mm-hmm.
Kumasi, you could probably find a 3 bedroom house for maybe $300, $400 a month there in
Yes, again.
Kumasi.
Mm-hmm.
Here in Accra, it can go anywhere. It can really range from like $200 all the way up to like $6,000. You know what I
Yes.
mean? I was seeing some crazy prices here in Accra, depending on where you're trying to be at. And so I would have at least a year saved up of rent. Um, you can pretty much live comfortably here, pretty comfortable after your rent is paid for like $1,500 a month. And that's
Mm-hmm.
really, you know, going out to eat, having leisure, still having a driver, having a cleaner, X, Y, and Z, and having some money left over. And so I say about $1,500 a month and having at least a year saved up in rent, and you should be fine here.
Mm-hmm.
As people live on less than
Mm-hmm.
$1,500 a month. Some people live on less than $1,000 a month here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I probably live on less than $1,500 a month, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because my house is pretty much paid for and I have a driver and food and things like that. So I'm living on less than $1,500 a month here.
Mm-hmm. And I was also gonna say with the rent, usually you pay the way it's set up, you pay a year in advance. So with Dre saying save up, the landlord is going to request at least a year of full payment. And then unless Dre, have you had a different experience? Have you had anybody that's accepted month to month?
Some people, if they got an Airbnb, they'll do month to
Airbnb,
month,
right?
but it's gonna be more expensive that
Yeah.
way.
Okay.
And I suggest if you come here, stay in a couple Airbnbs here and there,
Mm-hmm.
see how you like the area. You know, you might spend a little bit of money trying to figure out what area you want to be in
Mm-hmm.
before you give somebody a year in advance and stay in
Right.
there.
Right.
And some of the issues you will have is lights will go out at a certain point in time. Get a generator. uh, you will have the internet. I'm on Starlink, the Elon Musk thing. You know, say what you want
Mm-hmm.
about Elon. You know, he's a character within himself, but he got pretty good internet. I'm
Internet.
in the
Yeah.
mountains. I'm in the mountains now with uninterrupted internet, so I have to have this here in the mountains because the service is terrible here. And I think I
Mm-hmm.
pay like $40 a month for that internet. So that is something that you got to have. If you want service, if you're doing some kind of remote work where you need reliable internet service. And I use WhatsApp for my phone because sometimes the phone can be shoddy up here in the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, was something else I meant to hit on that somebody was asking. Uh, oh yeah, I pay like $7 for my haircut, and that's high. My driver pay $1 for his haircut. He
Yeah.
believe I'm crazy for paying 7 because he pays $1 for his. Uh, if you want to get a massage, I pay like $17 for like an hour for a massage. You know what I mean? And so these are things where I'm living a good life here. You know what I mean? And so cost of living is low, so that's why I'm not coming back to the U.S. Like I said, it's cold. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's just too many things going on where I feel restricted, and
Yeah.
I can't do that. It's like I'm going back into jail if I go back to the U.S.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, Carol said, what would be the advantage of buying versus renting something?
Um, that you own it and you can transfer it over. You can always sell it. Uh, renting, renting is low, and so you might want to move in different areas. You know what I mean? You don't want to be tied to one area. So that's probably difference in the U.S. Between renting and buying. Uh, like I said, the cost of living is so low here where, you can pretty much get a lot more amenities here renting than you can in the US. Now, one thing that you have to notice to rent here, that the maintenance culture ain't what it should be here in Ghana, as far as maintaining. Once you get that landlord that money, don't expect him to come knocking and fixing that door or fixing whatever it is on time because it's really not a maintenance culture here. And
Mm-hmm.
so even on my property, people got on me was like, "Oh, you bringing that HOA thing to Ghana?" I'm like, "There's no maintenance culture here. I need to be able to
Mm-hmm.
maintain my property." And so, say you bought a duplex that was $180,000. I got 1% of the total purchase price, meaning you pay $1,800 for the maintenance of the property. Now, because we're on solar, you don't have no electricity bill, you don't have no water bill. And so you don't have those bills whatsoever. So the $1,800 maintenance fee covers security, 24-hour security. It covers landscaping, trash pickup, basic home and pool maintenance, and also covers somebody to clean your house once a week. So just somebody cleaning your house once a week is good enough for that $1,800. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, I had to put that maintenance coach in there because I see how things are not maintained once things are built here in Ghana because there's no code enforcement to say, hey, you got this car parked in your yard. You got goats and chickens in your property. There's no maintenance culture. There's no inspectors that come and say, do this, do that. And so you're pretty much up to your own devices to maintain your property, and your standards might be different than somebody else's standards. So we have to have that here because we have an investment properties here. People Airbnb their properties out. And so we want to maintain that culture where if you put your money into this property here, that is going to be maintained by your neighbors where you're able to make money if that's what you got your investment property for.
Wonderful. And yeah, that's true. Once you get it, the landlords, they're like, that's it, that's your problem. That's a you problem, not me. If your
Yeah.
water is not, it's a you problem. That's just the culture there. Nobody's gonna maintain anything for you. So it's beautiful that you have that system at your condo where you are also maintaining it for everyone. To be respectful of your time, this is gonna be it, but I want to read you a few things that people were saying for you. So Michelle said, congratulations on your citizenship number 133.
Thank you.
Vaughn said, that's a beautiful tribute to your dad. When you said you were never coming back, I figured you were working on a family compound. So these are some of the beautiful things that people had to say. They said this is so much good info. They appreciate your time. We all appreciate your time. Before we go, so if somebody wants to invest in your condos, how does it work? Condos,
So,
townhomes, properties, how will it work?
so it's like five. You go to online to the website, thebeyondinvestments.com. Once you go there, you pick out your unit, you fill out a reservation form. Once you fill out the reservation form, I'll sign it and I need an ID. Once I verify that you're of African descent, then you can buy a property from me. So you'll pay a 5K reservation fee that's refundable within 30 days. And then we'll figure out a payment plan. So the first payment plan is 25% down, and you can make 48 monthly payments with no interest. The second option is 50% down. You receive 10% discount off the total purchase price and has to be paid within a year. The second option is a 12% if you pay full amount all up front. So those are the three payment options that we have here in the Beyond Investments.
Hey, all right, wonderful. Well, Dre, thank you so, so much for your time and just sharing all your information. And if you want to add anything before we leave, anything that I didn't ask or anything that you want to let us know, please let us know.
Yeah, I just look forward to meeting you guys when you come here. Put me on the tour list when you come to Bree Mountains.
Okay.
Uh, I'm trying to build a sanctuary here. I got two monkeys. You know,
Did you
looking
get
at
some
getting some other.
lions? I saw something about lions.
Yeah, somebody messaged me about some lions, but I got to get some things taken care of before I get some lions. You know what I mean? There's a lot of. I'm trying to work on getting my wildlife license here. Like this kind of stuff, like I didn't imagine me getting some animals and that kind of stuff. It just kind of fell in my lap, and so like it's crazy. You know what I mean? I got some monkeys here, but there's no wild animals out here in Ghana like you think. They're not just walking around here in Ghana like that. There's more animals probably in the U.S. walking around than it is in Ghana.
Yes.
Um, and so
Because
those
also they
that's a
will kill them to eat it. So you better not walk
yeah,
around.
yeah. It's called bush meat. So be careful about the soups you eat because you don't know what's gonna be in those soups. Uh, but other than that, yeah, just like I said, I welcome everybody here. Take your time. Nothing's in a rush here. Ghana's not for everybody.
Mhm.
You might like Amazon getting dropped off your door. You're not getting Amazon. The roads are going to be rough in certain areas. So it's not going to be for everybody. And so I don't try to sell Africa or Ghana as you must come. You have to come and visit, come back home. It's an investment. It's not a cost. It's an investment to see yourself, see where we came from, see the history, the culture is beautiful here. And we take it from there, and so like I said, look forward to you guys coming. Thanks for listening to, my story. And like I said, I look forward to meeting you guys pretty soon this year.
We look forward to meeting you as well, Dre. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time, and we will see you in December or November and
That'll work.
December. I'll bring them over.
That'll work. I'll be
Okay.
here.
All right. Bye, Dre.
All right, guys, take care.
Thank you. You too. All right, ladies. Bye.
That was great. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yes,
See
it
you in the
was.
community.
It was lovely.
Thank you, Michelle.
Really enjoyed listening to him live.
Yes, like.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
You look beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. I did it on Friday.
Mhm.
Saturday? Friday. Yeah.
Looks beautiful. You look beautiful.
And thanks for staying up, Michelle. It's been what time is it now?
I don't even know. I've had 3 calls already. You were the last one, and I have to get up early in the morning because I'm meeting someone, well, as a